Hi, and welcome to this short video. In this video, we're going to be multiplying and dividing fractions. Okay, and we're going to show you some techniques so that you get your answer in its simplest form at all times. Because that's how we should leave fractions. If we get a fraction as an answer, we should really leave it in its simplest form. And when it comes around to your GCSEs, there may be an extra mark for doing so. Okay, so we'll have a look at the first example. I've got 2/7 multiplied by 3/4. Now, when it comes to multiplication with fractions, we don't need to make the denominators the same. They are perfectly fine being different. And what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the two top numbers together and the bottom two numbers together. But if I do that without looking at the question, I'm going to need to simplify the answer. So instead of simplifying the answer, I'm going to simplify the question. So if I look at each fraction, I look vertically, 2/7, can that be simplified? No, it cannot. 3/4, can that be simplified? No, it can't. But I can also look diagonally for anything that could be simplified. Okay, and that has to do with their factors. If I've got a common factor, top and bottom, okay, that's going to also show in the answer. So I can get rid or simplify by that common factor earlier, and then I don't have to do it later. So if I look diagonally, 2 and 4 are both in the same times table. They're both in the 2 times table. So I'm going to divide them both by 2. So 2 divided by 2 becomes 1. 4 divided by 2 becomes 2. 3 and 7 are not, I can't simplify those. Now I can do top times top. So 1 times 3 is 3. And at the bottom, 7 multiplied by 2 is 14. And there we have it. I have my simplified fraction. Cannot be simplified. Now, we've got another example over to the right, but instead of multiplication, we've got the word of. Now, in maths, if we see the word of, that means to multiply. That's the calculation we're doing. I want 1/3 of 1/8. Okay, so if you imagine I've split a pizza up into 8 slices and I only want 1/3 of 1 slice, okay, I'm dividing by 3, which essentially is the same as multiplying by 1/3. So top times top, 1 times 1 is 1, because I can't cancel anything down. I've had a look, I can't do that. And 3 times 8 is 24, so 1/24. So the key bit to remember there is the word of in maths means that we need to multiply. Our third example shows us with some negatives. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look to simplify if I can. I might just ignore the negative for now though. So 8/9, no. 3/7, no. Look across, 3 and 9, yes, they're both in the 3 times table. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Look the other way, 8 and 7, no. Okay, so 8 multiplied by 1 is 8. Now, the 8 is negative, which means my answer is going to be negative because the 1's positive. So there we go. So I've got -8 over 3 times 7, 21. And there we go. Simplified fraction already. It's a negative. It doesn't matter that it's negative. Okay. That is my answer. Now, the fourth example shows a fraction multiplied by a whole number. Now, a whole number, if I were to write it as a fraction, would be over 1. Now, I'm going to look to cross cancel in a moment and just vertically. I can't do it vertically, so if I go diagonally, 9 and 12 are both in the 3 times table. So that's going to become a 3, and that's going to become a 4. So 8 multiplied by 4 is 32. 3 multiplied by 1 is 3. And if I want to convert that into a mixed number, that would be 10 and 2/3. Now, that's multiplying by fractions. So there are some questions, there are 3 questions there for you to have a go at. Okay, so pause the video now and you can have a go at those 3 questions. Okay, so the answer to these questions, we've got 5/6 multiplied by 42 over 1. They're both in the 6 times table. So it becomes 35 over 1, which is just 35. Question 2, I look to cancel. I can. They're both in a 2 times table, so divide them both by 2. 1 multiplied by negative 1 is negative 1. 7 multiplied by 4 is 28, so it's negative 1 over 28. And then the last one, 3 halves multiplied by 12 over 15. The 2 and the 12 are in the same times table. I'll look across first, so that's going to become a 6 because we're dividing by 2. That's going to become a 1. 3 and 15 at the same time, they're both in the 3 times table. So that becomes a 1. That becomes a 5. And now I can multiply across, so it becomes 6 over 5, which is the same as 1 and 1/5. Okay, nice and straightforward. Let's do some dividing. So here are my examples for dividing. Now a division, to work out a division, we have to multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, now the reciprocal is going to be the opposite of this fraction. But when I multiply this fraction by its reciprocal, my answer should be 1. So what that means for a division is, as I said, we want to multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 1/8 is 8 over 1. Okay, it's flipping that fraction over. If I were to multiply the original and the reciprocal together, my answer would be 8 over 8, which is 1. So that's how you know if you've done the reciprocal correctly, is you can multiply what it was originally by the reciprocal, and your answer should come out as 1 whole. So back to the example. If I'm dividing by a fraction, that means I want to multiply by its reciprocal. So 1/9 multiplied by 8 over 1. You may have heard this before, called keep it, change it, flip it. Okay? But note, we are multiplying by a reciprocal. So now I look to cancel. Can't. So 1 times 8 is 8. 9 times 1 is 9. And that's my final simplified answer. So again, I've got another one here. So I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to turn the fraction over. And then I'm going to look to see if I can cancel anything. 5 over 4, no. Can I go crossways? No, I can't do that either. So 5 multiplied by 15. 5 times 16 is 75. And 4 times 8 is 32. So if we turn that into a mixed number, we've got 2 wholes, because that's 64. And then I've got 11 left over, so it's 11 over 32. All right. Pause the video, have a go at the 2 questions that are on the bottom here, and play once you're ready to see the answers. Right, so as we said before, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, so it's 2 over 7 multiplied by 4 over 3. Can't cancel anything there, so that becomes 6. No, sorry, I beg your pardon, that becomes 8 over 21. And in the second question, 6/7 multiplied by 11 over negative 6. Well, I can cancel down, that's going to become a 1, that's going to become a negative 1. So this becomes 11 over negative 7, or as we should write it, negative 11 over 7. And there we go. We have now multiplied and divided by fractions.